We're here at BSB, and speaking about the young riders coming through, I'm here with Lester, and his son Storm rides the Moto3 class in BSB. I thought I'd have a chat with Lester about Lester's involvement as a father. How do you help a young rider come through these days? You know, what's your involvement? Did you race in the past?
My involvement is getting him here and getting him into the sport. I mean, he wanted to go and race bikes as he's ridden from 3. I did some racing in my time, but be it cars. We're here because Storm wanted to race motorbikes, and of course, like everything else, it's which championship do you do? We spent a couple of years out in Spain in 15 and 14, racing out there in a championship called Spanish Cup. But out there it was difficult, as in the difficulty was teams, what team to put him with, etc., etc., etc. That is a hard task. I think in any championship is somebody can only learn as a young rider or learn in life and have as good a people around them as you can get. And of course, that's the thing is I don't think only motorsport, I just think in life. Plenty of people can talk a good story, but whether they can actually produce what you need to progress you, well, it's something else. But anyway, the point is this year it was decided, well, look, let's let him do this championship in Moto3 in the Motor Star class. And it's a standard class where it's a field that they've created that all the bikes are of a standard form rather than being full powered ones. So there's 2 classes within one race, if you like, but it is the standard class. The beauty is with that is it should be a level playing field, i.e. so the bikes are all of an equal, and away you go. Then what it does is it progresses then of learning the circuits and experience. And as far as Storm goes is yes, within this standard class, and this is no excuses, Storm's riding against lads that have been here 3-4 years previously, so they know the circuits. He doesn't. But with Storm, he's completely on the back foot, as in the sense as he's never been to a circuit, and it's difficult.
How old is Storm now?
Well, he's just 13 now. I mean, that's something else. I mean, at the first round, he was only 12 when he did Silverstone, the first round of this championship, and he ended up winning the race. But they let him enter because Stuart here, organiser of this championship, they got him special dispensation. So he was allowed to race at 12 rather than being 13. He won the first. He won the first round. So he made history at the first round by winning that race. So he became the youngest ever winner of a BSB championship. The but bit about that is, because that happened at the first round, then it's what expectations of Storm. Because he won it, I think the expectations is he's going to romp it, isn't he? Yeah. But of course, Silverstone is a big open circuit, and even though it's a big open circuit, you can see all of the corners, you can see the apexes, so it was an easy enough circuit to learn, if that makes any sense. Then when you move on to the other rounds, there's blind brows, blind apexes, there's a lot more to learn and a lot to take in.
I'm really interested in how you got, or how Storm got to here. Like as a young guy, you're racing and you're racing in a championship, and the progression. How did he make it? And how did you help him get in?
Well, the progression was as I said, I gave him a bike at 3, his first little rev and go, and the same with his 2 sisters, because he has 2 sisters at 21 and 23, but they also had rev and go bikes at 3 years old, and quad bikes, and that's how it started with bikes. So Storm played around at home like his sisters did and so forth and that, but then when he got to 9, he came and showed me on his iPad some mini moto racing. And he said, that looks fun, Dad. Do you think I could have a go? So it was like, yeah, right, okay, mate, yeah, don't know a lot about it. Well, don't know anything about it. But we'll have a look into it. We'll ask some questions and we'll find some answers. So we did. We borrowed one. We took him to a place that said, that did some practicing and that with mini motos and that. So he went and had a practice and he had a go and he enjoyed it. So we said, well, look, do you want to do a championship? So that's how it came about. We entered him for a championship. We turned up with him as a novice, but he was on it from the word go. He was there at the front of the field. And
it sounds like he really wanted to be there, you know.
Well, he really enjoyed it. I mean, he loved it. He took to it like a duck to water. And that was the thing is it was him that come and asked about it. It wasn't me saying, I think you should do X, Y, and Z or all the rest of it. Man, it was him that actually came with it.
Can I ask about training side? Like, does he practice training between events? What does he do, and how do you help him with
that?
it?
Riding bikes. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean he also does flat tracking, which is like it's like a speedway. That is, but on a very similar to a supermoto bike. But it's the same principle as like speedway, and he does that. But the point is he's practicing wise. Yeah, he rides at home. He's always scratching around on bikes. He's always doing wheelies on, like he's got little 110
playing. Yeah.
He's playing. Yeah. That's what he does. Storm plays, and that's Storm.
Can I ask a direct question about you and your involvement as a father? How do you see it? How did you help him get here? Because I know that's part of our story, is how do fathers help in the sport, get their boys through.
Well, as far as help goes, it's a catch-22 scenario, as in the sense is first and foremost, I think that the most important thing is that your child wants to do something. So he wanted to go mini moto racing, so that's what he had to go at. Yeah. He was good at it. He drew level in the one championship in the first year. He won the other championship as a complete novice from the word go. So what that tells you is people keep saying to me he's a natural talent. That's what people say, he's natural. So then it's like, well, you've got to ask people then with experience, haven't you? What should I do with him next? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then of course that question was asked, and it's like, right, well, you've got to take him to the circuits. So of course you take him to the circuits, and that's where we are. What I do is, as a father, is obviously fund it, try and encourage him, try and find the right people to look after him. And that's the thing isn't it, is knowledge and experience. As I said, he's known as a natural talent, and I think, as I said earlier, by winning the first round, there was a lot of expectations from Storm, but as I said, as a 13-year-old child now, which he is, only just, he's got a lot to learn. And of course, a lot to learn takes a lot of taking in. And of course, that's what we're trying to do with him. And don't get me wrong, with this championship, yeah, it's a great championship, but they don't get a lot of track time. No. And without a lot of
always
track time,
as a support class, that's what happens. You're right.
Yeah, it is. But as an example, out in Spain, I mean, you get 2 days of testing for every round. You get a Thursday and Friday. You get 2 hours on a Thursday, 4 half-hour sessions. You get 2 on a Friday. So you've done 4 hours.
More riding, yeah.
In them 4 hours, you get to learn a circuit properly, and then basically you're then out there on the Saturday for the qualifying. So you've had the opportunity to learn a lot more, but this is the but bit. With all the best will in the world, this championship with the BSB, they're not going to do that.
No.
And they're not going to do it because they haven't got the time within the championship to do that.
You're running some major classes, and
Absolutely.
Then you're a support class.
So as I said, it was a good thing this year to chuck him in at the deep end. He doesn't know a circuit, yeah? Yeah. There's no like being chucked in at the deep end. Yeah. In the deep end,
sink or swim. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is with him, he hasn't. He ain't sunk, far from it. No. But at times it's frustrating because as a father, you obviously want your son to do well, and you only want what's best for him. But isn't that life? Isn't that life by anybody in any sport? you want whoever you're involved with, or be it your son, to do well. And it does generate frustration. But isn't that life? Isn't life frustrating?
Yep.
You've got to learn. And
keep banging your head against the wall.
Absolutely. You can go round in a vicious circle. To me, the way I see it is the lad's got to be out here, he's got to put in the track time, and he's got to learn. And as long as he does that, they progress.
Yep.
And of course, it's where they progress to.
Lester, thank you for your time, mate. I really appreciate it, buddy.
No, so good on you. Good on you.